Louise Fletcher's rise to become the Best Actress was unconventional. It was only after her second legitimate role that she won the Best Actress Oscar. She played a role, a villain, so iconic that after this role there was no other role that could top that. Louise Fletcher came from a modest life to playing a role many people still cannot forget. Louise Fletcher grew up in Alabama to deaf, hard of hearing parents with 3 other siblings. They were taught to speak English by their aunt. Louise was influenced by this aunt to pursue acting, and consequently, upon finishing high school, Louise studied acting at the University of North Carolina. She then moved to Los Angeles, and just like other Oscar-winning actresses who were starting off in Hollywood, Fletcher would work as a waitress to make ends meet. Fletcher, being 5'10" in stature, towered over most actors and found it difficult to find any roles other than in westerns, since the male actors were taller than her there. It was the end of the 50s, and Fletcher found success in TV shows like Lawman, Untouchables, Maverick, and Perry Mason. She only appeared in one film as an uncredited role in the 1963 film called A Gathering of Eagles. Louise Fletcher decided to step away from acting altogether to focus on family. She got married and had 2 children with Jerry Bick, a film producer. Fletcher did not return to TV until the 90s. But after an 11-year hiatus from show business, Fletcher came back stronger than ever and found herself starring in 1974's Thieves Like Us, which was co-produced by her husband and Robert Altman, who also directed the film. Fletcher had no intention of returning to the screen, but upon her husband's insistence that she be in this movie, a dare more like, she made the best decision ever to return. She was afraid that other actors would scorn her for getting an upper hand due to her being the wife of the producer. This crime film co-starred Shelley Duvall and Fletcher, who both actually starred alongside Jack Nicholson in their most prominent film roles, The Shining and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, respectively. Which leads me to Fletcher getting cast as the female lead of Nurse Ratched opposite Nicholson in the 1975 movie adaptation of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This was Fletcher's next serious film role following Thieves Like Us, and after Michael Douglas, one of the producers, acquired rights to the book to be adapted, Milos Forman, the director, decided to pursue Louise Fletcher to star in the film after seeing her in Thieves Like Us. Many other major actresses like Anne Bancroft passed on this role due to their belief that this role was anti-feminist. Let's be honest, nobody could play the role of Mildred Ratched any other way that only Fletcher could. The antipathy, acid, and sadism Fletcher brought to the screen was undeniably anger-inducing to the audience, one of the most memorable and potent villains on screen there ever was. Seeing a female villain was a rarity. A female villain is different than a male one. It showed that women can be far more cruel and twisted than most could expect, and that, paired with Nicholson's portrayal of McMurphy, a foil to Ratched, made this film an instant hit. The rebelliousness of McMurphy could be compared to the 70s counterculture, which clashed with the power of the puritanical, conservative America, which Ratched symbolized. Fletcher said this about her character: "Life had stopped for her a long time ago. She was so out of touch with her feelings that she had no joy in her life and no concept of the fact that she could be wrong. She delivered her care of her insane patients in a killing manner, but she was convinced she was right." By the way, the series on Netflix called Ratched actually introduces the history of Mildred Ratched and her backstory. Sarah Paulson plays Ratched. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest won the top 5 Academy Awards at the 1976 Oscars. Louise Fletcher billowed up the stage to accept the Best Actress Oscar and concluded it with a sign language thank you to her parents. At this moment, Fletcher felt what fame really was, especially knowing that before her stardom she was rejected by 15 talent agencies, and only now were the offers rolling in. After this legendary role, Fletcher continued acting on film, but no role ever came close in terms of success to the monster she played in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. She said this looking back on her win: "Just enjoy it. It'll make you wonderfully happy for a night, but don't expect that it'll do anything for your career. Sure, it changes your life enormously in personal ways, but it was not a guarantee of anything. I'm realistic. I have to be." Louise Fletcher starred in films like The Exorcist 2, Flowers in the Attic, Cruel Intentions, and Brainstorm. She has not starred in any other movies since 2013. In 1990, Fletcher resurrected her TV career and starred in shows like Picket Fences, Joan of Arcadia, which both nominated her for Emmys for Outstanding Guest Actress in Drama. She appeared in Shameless too. Although working steadily after her Oscar win, Fletcher's stardom was fleeting, and she accepted this reality. And she said, "Frankly, how many parts are out there for people like me? I'm not going to be a person who complains about roles for women. There's a long line of people doing that. I'm working. Even if I don't think something is so great, I still do it. I'm one of those actresses who have to work for a living. I don't have huge savings." Louise Fletcher's arresting performance in one of the most powerful films will forever be valued. Talk about a performance of a lifetime.
And if you'll excuse me, for my mother and my father, I want to say thank you for teaching me to have a dream. You are seeing my dream come true. Thank you.